No, good morning. Good morning here. Anyway, I did some videos the other day. I did 4 videos, 12, 13, 14, 15, talking about Minuteman stuff. I kind of went over a bit about Vietnam and how that worked and everything. And I was looked back at the videos yesterday, and I looked at those videos, and I noticed that video 13 had less likes than the others. But it's probably because of some of the things that I said in there irritated people. But the fact of the matter is that sometimes truth irritates people. The truth of things. Vietnam was part of the subject of video 13, and I'm going to tell you that Vietnam was school. That was school for the American servicemen that went there. That's the reason why Vietnam is so studied by people who engage in war, because of the lessons learned, all the takeaways from Vietnam. So many things were learned because when the United States went into Vietnam, they went into Vietnam with World War II fighting strategy, which doesn't work in the jungle against guerrillas. So therefore, the U.S. had to adapt. They had to learn and to adapt to that situation, which they did well. So a guerrilla, somebody who engages in guerrilla warfare, that's an insurgent, right? So the U.S. engaged in counterinsurgency. They counter guerrilla warfare, right? So this is where people, this was the crucible. This is where it all came together. This was the school. So you had groups like, the United States Marine Corps, Force Recon in there. You had the Navy's Special Warfare, the SEALs, okay, the Special Forces, the Green Berets in there, and then the Rangers and all of that stuff. And that is where all of these certain types of warfare came together, and they learned how to deal with this guerrilla warfare. So you have to do this. In order to be able to engage in guerrilla warfare, you have to understand. You have to understand that your common maneuvers, right? Your cover fire and maneuver tactics and all those things that you probably, if you're a former soldier and you learned all of these different tactics, you know what? The enemy knows those tactics. The enemy has studied. Let's think of it like a quarterback. Quarterback's got his playbook. And, the quarterback used to always hold that. He would put that in a safe place so that the other team never got a hold of it in any way, shape, or form, right? So because they would know his plays. It's the same thing. But the problem is that the enemy knows. The enemy has a copy of the playbook, right? So you engage the enemy, and the enemy sees what you're doing. They know exactly what you're going to do. So they've already got it set up to counter your maneuvers, right? So you need to throw that copy of your playbook out the window. You have to adapt. You have to adapt to the situation, and you have to think differently. You have to think. You have to think like the insurgent. You cannot just bring regular old combat maneuvers to a guerrilla war, because it's not going to work. It isn't. You better listen. You better listen up. I mean, when we talked about Vietnam the other day, some of you may think that I'm idolizing the Vietnamese. I'm not. See, there's a difference. There's a difference between idolizing an enemy force and respecting an enemy force. When you respect the enemy, because the enemy could kill you, you don't know what the enemy knows. If they found out in a hurry what the enemy knows, they learned. And that's how you grow. That's how you grow and become good yourself. You got to be sneaky. You got to do, you got to do things that are unconventional. By the way, all these videos are for informational purposes only, right? So it's kind of like you could go and buy a book on all these subjects, right? It's First Amendment, So just consider me as like an open, as a human book, right? I'm reading off for you about this stuff. I mean, video 13, not getting too many likes. Guys, you have got to put that pride aside, and you got to think about what works and do things in a different manner. You cannot just keep on with the same old stuff that everybody knows. You cannot keep up with the same old stuff that everybody knows, right? So you go to school, you're in the military, you go to school, you learn cover fire and maneuver, right? Cover fire, maneuver. Okay, they're laying down fire. You guys, you get over in this position. And then we're going to do this, and then we're going to do that, right? The enemy knows that. They know that. They've got a copy. You cannot go into a situation using the same old S, right? You can't. You cannot do that. You got to go into, you have to fight a guerrilla war, an unconventional war, unconventionally. You cannot fight an unconventional war with tactics that everybody knows already. You cannot do that. You got to make your own tactics. You take tactics that you already know, and then you develop new tactics. You got to use your brain. That's just what we have this gray matter for, so that we can do things, we can adapt, and we can overcome obstacles and so forth. You know, the Lord gave you a brain. You got to use it so that you can do what's necessary. Whatever is necessary, you can work the problem in your head. You could say, well, how are we going to overcome this situation? And then you think about it enough, and then you get all your friends to think about it, and then you come together and you have a little group meeting and you say, well, man, this is what our enemy, our opposing force, has been doing. Everybody knows. Everybody knows what the opposing forces have been doing. You know, they have a standard operating procedure. Well, we're going to have to interrupt that. We will have to interrupt that so that we can overcome that situation. We're going to have to do things differently. This is what I'm trying to talk to you in a way so that this video doesn't get taken down. And I try to talk to you in this way in all of my videos so that they don't get taken down, because in the past, whenever I have blatantly just been truthful about certain things and said certain things, I've had the videos taken down and a mark against the channel. And I think that it is much more important that I speak to you in a way that you could still understand and the video not get taken down, because the information still needs to go out. So yeah, video 13 didn't get a lot of likes. And the problem with that is that is a redo video. That's a redo video. I sit here and I don't have a script. I have an idea what I want to talk about, and then I go with it. In video 13, the camera fell. And I don't have any editing skills because I don't have time to sit around and screw around on the computer learning how to edit. And I got a cheap camera that's about done, but it still works, right? I don't throw something away because it's old or whatever. I use it until it doesn't work anymore. But, and you know, cameras are super expensive to get a good one. I can't afford to go out and buy a camera like that. And I don't have the time to sit around and learn a bunch of editing skills like the younger crowd does. I don't have that luxury. I'm supposed to be doing some things right now. I didn't get my sewing done the other day. I got to do that. I got about 2 minutes left in this video. I got some other things I want to talk about. I'm going to come back in one more video, and then I'm going to get on those sewing projects. But I wanted to bring up video 13 because the thing is, guys, is that this whole Minuteman thing, when we are talking about the Minuteman, and I'm doing these videos, the kit videos, they get all of the likes. They get a lot of likes because that's the thing that draws a lot of the young guys, is all of the equipment, right? But see, the thing is that the equipment doesn't make the Minuteman. The equipment doesn't make the soldier. What makes the soldier is the mind. The soldier is made here in the mind, not in the equipment. You can have all the best kit in the world and be a terrible soldier because your mind isn't of a soldier. You have to be educated in your mind also, and you have to be willing to embrace certain things in order to overcome a very large issue, right? Come back in another video, guys. I'm out of time on this one. I'm sorry if video 13 was a disappointment to you, but there's things that I just wanted to redo that video, and I took notes on it before I just erased it. Well, we'll see you in another one.